Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and straight to my desk because we are in for another long one today. It is Alex Syberia release day. This one is called Christmas in July, and I am just going to dive straight in here with some hot foiling because I'm slightly addicted to the foiling of the hotness. Yes, I am. I don't know why I said that. My husband and I had this weird way of talking to each other. So sometimes that spills over into like normal life with normal people. Anyway, so I am going to hot foil the Angel's Bells hot foil plate with both gold and also moon foil. Oh, moon dust. It is, oh, gorgeous, gorgeous colors. So, although it might actually be, is that champagne? It could be champagne, but it's a light gold color anyway. So we are going to cut off our foils and prepare them while the machine is heating up. And you can see here that the green light is already on, and that's because I have left my machine on for a little while before I kind of got into it, because I really wanted to make sure that it's nice and hot. And then we're going to put our foil down, pretty side down, our paper and our shims, and then we're going to press the button. So I have cut out bits of the video here because it takes a little bit longer. Like the timer is like a minute, I think. You know, I have left the machine to heat up a bit before so that it will definitely be really, really nice and hot. And I'm one of those people that if I've got my machine out and it's hot, I'm like, might as well do another one because, you know, it's here, it's hot, it's ready to trot. So yes, that's it. But so I've got my first piece done, and then we're gonna do the second one and just, you know, get these done because why not, right? I mean, I don't want to say I'm addicted to hot foiling, but I like it very, very, very much. So, as I said, while the machine is out, might as well go to town. So we're going to roll this one through as well. But while I'm doing that, I just thought I'd also let you know that today, the 13th of July, there's also a release of blog hop. So there is, you know, loads of really, really talented people in this hop. You're going to be amazed at all of the inspiration. I've seen some sneak peeks and oh my goodness. So I will link that down below in the description box as well. And you're going to want to hop along because someone is going to win the entire release. Yes, as well as so I think it is like two gift cards as well. And then, you know, later in the week there's going to be a YouTube hop, and then there's an Instagram hop. So there is lots of ways to win. So you definitely kind of want to make sure you follow Alex Syberia on all the social media and all of that. And as I said, I will link down below the link to my blog so that you can hop along, and then also to my Instagram, so you can, you know, if you haven't followed me there already, please do so. Hey, and keep an eye out for the Instagram hop on Saturday. So here I am now moving on to the large Merry Christmas hot foil plate because, like I said, the machine is out. Might as well. So I am actually doing this one in red foil on shiny black cardstock because I thought that could be quite dramatic and elegant. And I wasn't wrong. I mean, look at that. Ooh, that looks so cool. And you know what? Although I did actually use the coordinating die cut to cut that out, I'm thinking that could be a super simple but like kapow Christmas card. Just Merry Christmas foiled on black cardstock or gold cardstock, and just that's it, you're done. So now we are going to move on to step number 2. We are going to add some color to our angel bells, and I must admit that I have no idea what these look like in real life. Like, are they red? Are they purple? Are they yellow, pink? I don't know. So I probably should have Googled a little bit, done some research, but I thought, you know what, we're gonna go for like a really bright kind of like tropical vibe for our first one, which is the panel done with Moondust Foil. So the Moondust is kind of like it's not turquoise and it's not blue, but it's kind of like somewhere in between there, depending on how the light hits it. And I tell you, oh my goodness, if you think that this one isn't going to be one for your repertoire, I'm fairly confident that you are wrong. Take my word for it. I will show you just how incredible this looks when it's finished. Even like, you know, with the flowers being in like outlined in the, I'm gonna call it Moondust because I don't really know what color it is, to be honest. It's like I said, it's kind of like one of those like mystery colors. It's like blue, greeny, turquoisey, goldy, you know, depending on the light, as I said. But here for the actual layering stencil ink blending bit, I am going to go in with kind of like yellowy greenish and also some sort of turquoisey blues for, again, like a very not found in nature kind of look. But I thought, you know, this could be really, really cool. And I am actually wiping off the stencil in between because each stencil is 2 different layers of the leaves. So even though I am going to be using the same color for the leaves all over the place, I don't want to like contaminate the greens too much with the teals. You know, I want them to blend, but I don't want them to mix where I don't want them to mix, if that makes sense. So for to kind of like add in a little bit of detail, I'm also using like one of these itty bitty brushes from the Rabbit Hole Designs to just kind of really get in those like little nooks and crannies. And I do have an ink blending brush from the Rabbit Hole Designs for every single one of my Pinkfresh colors. I am a tad extra, but I'm okay with that. And then I have the itty bitty brushes in kind of like the greens and the blues, pinks and purples, etc. You know, so I do have to wipe off the brushes in between to make sure that there's no color contamination. But then once I had added those like little details with the brushes, I realized on the first couple of layers, I was like, I could go in with more. I can add more color, because sometimes I find with ink blending that the colors as they're drying, they kind of, I'm not going to say fade because it's not like fade, but they just kind of lose some of their vibrancy. So in order to get them really, really vibrant like this, you do sometimes have to go in and like add a little bit of extra color in places to really get that kind of like kapow look like I was after. Because I mean, I'm not looking for natural here. I'm going, you know, cray off the charts colors. Let's have fun, you know. And I'm really sorry about the angle here. I have no excuse other than that I was on a roll. I obviously moved my panel from like the shot and did not realize until it was too late, because I was digging where it was going. So I was like, I am not looking at anything other than what is happening on my desk right now. So I'm really, really sorry, but I will show you pictures of the finished product as we're, you know, getting there. So you will see eventually, you know, what it really, really looks like. And obviously these photos will be found on my blog as well if you want to have like really like stills to look at and get the colors and stuff. But so here we're just going to add the final little details that are the kind of like little underbits of the flowers, and then we're going to move on to our gold or champagne colored one, and I'm going to try to stay in the shot this time. But we are going to go for more natural colors, what I would sort of perceive the angel bells to look like in real life. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably need to Google and actually have a look at this, but I'm not going to do that right now because, you know, now I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get these done, and you can see here I'm using a little bit of Post-it tape to hold my stencil in place so that I don't need to kind of worry about it kind of going all flip-floppity all over the place. And then I realized as well, I will need to cover up the bottom bit here because I can be a little bit wild with my ink blending, and it kind of goes all over the place. So I thought, you know what, let's just keep this sort of separate so that in case I decided to use this whole thing on a card instead of cutting it out, which is what I ended up doing. But, you know, this is just a little scrap piece of paper. I think it was like maybe a shipping label piece of paper that didn't have any writing on it. So I like to recycle and reuse a lot in my craft room so that I can use my pennies and my pounds and my euros on actual fun stuff rather than having to spend them on things that are, you know, that kind of feel a bit boring, you know? I mean, yes, I know that you have to spend money on inks and papers and glue. Oh, I really don't like spending money on glue, but there you are. Glue is essential, so it's literally the glue that holds everything together, huh? No? Okay. Well, as I said, I like to, where possible, use really cheap alternatives, so then that when it comes along something that is really it really makes a difference. If you have a good quality tool like a MISTI or ink blending brushes or a die cutting machine, I can splurge on those. And speaking of, I'm actually in the market for a new trimmer, because my trimmer, which I've had for, I mean, it's gotta be coming on 14, 15 years now. So it's not like I didn't get the money out of it, but it's now broken, so I do need to find a new one. And I'm not really super keen on like the rotary trimmers. I like the guillotine types thing. So if you have a recommendation, I would absolutely love to hear it, and like the pros and the cons of it. So please either, I was gonna say send me a message, but I don't know if that works on YouTube, but drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think, what you recommend. And to be honest, I'm less concerned about the price point. I would like it to be, I would rather pay a little bit extra and more for something that is going to do the job and do the job really well and last me a long time. Because what I've found with my previous trimmer is that it didn't always, even when I used the hold the paper in place thing, it didn't always cut straight. So I don't know whether the actual blade was a little bit angled or whether it was the measurements on the guillotine, but it just wasn't quite, you know, doing the job the way I envisioned that it should. So please do drop me your recommendations for a really good paper trimmer. But now back to this. So here you can see this is more kind of in, this is actually real time. So you can see I'm going in with these little itty bitty brushes to just kind of really get those details. And we're going to zoom in a minute so you can actually see what it looks like. But it makes such a difference if you go over your leaves first with one color, and then you go in with a slightly darker color just to kind of bring in the depth and the detail, and it just brings it to life in a 3D way, which you just can't do with just one color. So obviously, if you don't want to spend a huge amount of time on ink blending and stuff, you can just add one layer of ink and be done with it, especially if you're mass producing. You know, there are other ways to kind of spice up your images, add some jewels, add some gold splatters. You know, there's so many different ways you can take your card making to another level without it taking hours and hours. But now, so we're going to move on to the actual flowers, and I'm going to go in with coral reef to kind of add a little bit of a light, I want to say pink, but it's not pink. It's kind of like a really, really light red color. And then we're going to go in with passion fruit and berrylicious to, you know, kind of bring in the depth and the details and the contrast. So you'll see that I went in with the coral reef at the top there so that you get a really light touch in the middle. And then we're going to start from the bottom with the passion fruit and kind of work our way upwards. And you will see with this color scheme now, I will be going kind of like back and forth with the colors to kind of build it up as well. So it just really makes such a difference when you take your time ink blending, because you get a smoother finished result, plus you can get so much more vivid results if you just let the color build up a little bit. So sometimes you have to let it dry a little bit and then you go back and do it a little bit later. So here I'm going in with some, I want to say, it's not apple candy, it is, very delicious with a itty bitty brush to just bring in that redness from both the bottom and the top to just kind of make the, this is more to kind of have like a low light to really highlight the highlight of the flower, if that makes sense. So we're gonna do lights and darks to kind of really make these flowers come to life. So I'm hoping that makes sense. But otherwise, I'm hoping what I'm doing, and so you can see it kind of coming to life, will make sense. So we're going to finish off the last few flowers here, and you will also see that I did actually completely forget to do one of these stages as well. But that happens sometimes, you know, you just, yeah, everything doesn't always go according to plan, but you just have to go back in and fix that if you can, and if you can't, then sometimes you can say, you know what, it's a handmade card, it's not a hallmark, there's not 1,000 ones of these. This makes my card even more unique and special. So yeah. But with this set, as I mentioned, there's a stamp set, there is also the hot foil plate, there are these layering stencils, and there is coordinating die cuts. And I must admit, something that I really love about the coordinating die cuts for this Angel Bell set is that it actually cuts out the bits in between the flowers and the leaves to kind of really, it's not just like one big image. So your backgrounds will show through in more than one like place. And that is something that I really, really personally enjoy, because I just feel like it gives you so much more kind of options. It gives you so many more options. So you could do a shaker card with this, you know, you could just add a little bit of acetate to the back, load it up with foam tape, and you can have a beautiful shaker card as well as just a stunning flower set. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anything, although saying that, I haven't seen everything that's on the market, but I don't think I've seen a stamp set with this particular flower on before. And I really, really enjoyed playing with this set. Like, really enjoyed. It was just so much fun, and it was just what I needed, because there's been a few rough weeks, almost 7. So today it's 7 weeks since little tiny Tina joined the family, and it's been a roller coaster for sure. There's been ups and downs, and many moments of, oh my god, what have we done? But she honestly is the cutest little thing, and she and Maya get on so well together. They snuggle together. Maya and Tina play together. So Maya's got a little play buddy, and Tina is getting kind of canine companionship to kind of show her that life isn't so difficult or dangerous with humans in the house. And I mean, we don't know what's happened to her before we found her, apart from the fact that we knew that she was abandoned in our village at the beginning of May, and that's it. Like, we don't know anything else really about her. We don't know where she's come from. We don't know how old she is. We do know that she's had probably a minimum of 2 litters of puppies, but again, we don't know much about her history. So it's just been it's been an adventure for sure, and at times a circus, I am not gonna lie. And also currently at the moment I am home alone because the man is in the UK to visit his dad for his birthday, and it's let me tell you, when you're outnumbered 4-1, it's yeah, it's an adventure. Let's say that. Let's just put it like that. It is an adventure, and yeah, wow. Okay, but now, so I have used the coordinating die cut to cut these out. This is what I meant with the, you see like all the space in between the flowers and the leaves. And then I did use the coordinating die cut for this Merry Christmas as well. And I thought that that would go just really, really well with the red angel bells to kind of follow with that kind of color scheme. And then I did cut some of these backgrounds out using the new cover plate, but I wasn't kind of sure where I was going with this. So I had this problem where I just cut out and I make so many spare pieces without like a plan, without a solid plan. And then I end up with all of these extra bits and pieces and things. And yeah, I probably need to rethink my creative process a little bit. But here I was like, oh, purple. That could really make this pop like crazy. And then I thought, okay, so maybe I need to bring in like another little more neutral color so that kind of calm it down a little bit. And I really did think that this was what the card was going to end up being, but I couldn't quite decide. So I thought, you know what, I can finish off the red one because I had a generally good idea what I was going to do with that one. But I did need sentiments for both cards. So no, I didn't. I didn't need sentiments for both cards because I already had a sentiment for the yellow, for the red one. So here I think I was just like, okay, well, I will do sentiments because I know that I need sentiments for, you know, the tropical vibe one. So I took a lot of the sentiments from the Angel Bell set, and I actually stamped these up and heat embossed them in Opaque Bright White from Wow Embossing Powder. And this is Grape Soda cardstock from Concord and 9th, and I didn't think it was going to be as, you know, great as it was, but this color combination with the pinks and the kind of peachy orange, the greens and a little bit of teal and the gray and the purple, you think that's a lot of different colors, but I think it works. And I will show you when I'm finished here. But what I've done, first of all, is I've treated the paper or the cardstock with my embossing tool from the Rabbit Hole Designs. And even though the Wow embossing powders are treated to be less staticky, I have really oily hands. I live in a humid climate. It is hot like lava here right now. So I have to have that extra like anti-static treatment because otherwise it would just be like a block of white because the powder would just stick to everything. But with the tool having been treated, or treated the paper with a tool, I didn't get any of that. So it's definitely worth the investment, even if you have powders that say that they are anti-static. So here I decided I'm going to use a little bit of Dove cardstock to actually heat emboss the Angel Bells on that as well. And I'm going to use the same Opaque Bright White powder so that it all kind of brings in together. And the reason I thought, you know, this could be a fun idea is because sometimes you just need a little something, like a little bit of texture on your background. And you don't always want it to be, you know, you don't want it to steal the show because the show is, or the star of the show is these very, very colorful hot foiled and ink blended Angel Bells. So I just wanted something that was quite cohesive, but still, and fun, but not too kind of eye-catching in the sense that I don't want it to be competing for all of the attention. So I'm stamping this up with the Wow embossing pad, and then we're going to sprinkle this delicious powder on it, and then we're going to set that with our heat tool. So when I put my embossing powder on, I always use a little bit of like cheap printer paper or something like that, or again, like an extra, like a slip from a delivery of something like that. It doesn't have to be, you know, nice, posh paper or anything like that. And I know that there are those like little catcher trays and things that you can catch, but I find that, you know, using the paper, it works just as well. It's so malleable. You just shape it up like its tube when you finish and you put it back into your pot and that's it. So now I'm just going to heat emboss this quickly with my heat tool. And you'll see that I'm using a corkboard in the background. And the reason I use a corkboard is because I feel like it bounces back the heat to then, which helps stop warping of the cardstock. So when you just heat emboss a piece of card stock or paper, if you just blow in the hot air on it, it does tend to make the paper kind of warp inwards. But I have noticed that when I'm using my corkboard, it doesn't as much. So especially if you're in a hurry and you need to, you know, finish a card, get it in the mail, or, you know, you need to photograph it or whatever. If you need to avoid the warping and don't have time to kind of lay it flat and let it cool down and straighten out, this is a great way to just kind of avoid that step. Because also, these corkboards are super cheap. You can probably find them in like a grocery store homeware section. It's actually called a trivet, so it's a cork trivet. It's the thing that you put hot pans on, you know, to avoid them burning your table. Super great investment. I think I bought 2 for £1 back in 2010, something like that. And, you know, they're still going strong. So, you know, there's no need to spend loads and loads and loads of money. Now, for these cards here, I decided to prop up my angel bells a little bit. So I cut out 2 pieces of white cardstock and 1 of, I want to say sea glass, to just kind of add in a little kind of fun little notion. So they're not going to really show, but it's just enough to kind of make you think, oh, what's that? So I'm going to layer up the sea glass one at the bottom so that it's closest to the background. And then we're going to add the 2 white ones on top. And then we're going to add our ink blended panel on top of that. And then that whole shebang is going to go straight on top of our heat embossed panel. And, you know, the little sentiment that I settled on, that's going to go on there as well. It's been trimmed down to a really nice skinny banner. It's going to go right across the leaves. And that is, well, okay, so I did add a little bit of bling because I thought, you know, this card can do it. This card can certainly take that extra bling-a-ling because it's already so shiny and nice. It's not going to feel like, oh, I need this to kind of cheer me up, you know. It's just going to be like, yeah, I'm here, I'm blingy, you can just admire me. Yeah. I don't know what that was, but it's just... You know what I get like with my with my bling-a-ling. I do like it a lot, so you know there is that. But a little bit of liquid glue when you are layering up pieces like this. I cannot recommend liquid glue enough. Always use liquid glue because it will give you those extra few seconds to just line up everything perfectly straight on top of each other, so you don't get like weird pieces sticking out. You know, because nobody wants that. Unless that's the look you're going for, of course. But with this second card, I'm actually going to be using a panel that I did on one of my other hot foiling frenzies. So this is the glowing geometrical or geometry hot foil place that was released in May. It is gorgeous. And pretty sure that there was this one either in champagne or matte gold. And it was perfectly sized. It was there. It gives texture. It gives a bit of interest. And it gives a bit of shine. And I love this hot foil plate. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then on top of this, I just added the Merry Christmas down completely flat. Like there's hardly any layers to this, apart from the fact that it's like 3 pieces on top of each other. Now, these are the bling-a-ling that I decided to use. They are the Aurora Dew Drops from Crafty Meraki. These ones are limited editions, so if you really want these, you better rush over to the Crafty Meraki store because once they're sold out, they're probably not coming back. So, yeah, if you want them, go for it. So for the other one, I thought, oh, I'm either going to go gold or maybe the onyx ones to kind of tie in with like the black cardstock. But then I was like, oh, I do love my golden illusion sparkles as well, as you can tell from the there's not a lot left because I really love these ones. And I decided to go for those ones instead. It could kind of tie in again with the gold foiling on the angel bells and the background, and it just kind of, yeah, it was just a little bit more subtle. I'm usually not the like subtle type when it comes to my bling because I have been known to over bling quite a few cards, and I make no excuses and I have no regrets, but not everybody likes that. But I personally cannot get enough of the bling. So I decided to add quite a lot on each one of these, and then these will probably go to some super special people this Christmas, and you know, they deserve it. So I do feel like with the cards that I know I'm gonna send to someone, I tend to put in a little bit of extra love and maybe a little bit of extra bling. But hey, who can blame me, right? You know? So here I'm just gonna add them with my crystal Katana Bamboo jewel picker, which I know is a bit of a handful to say, but it's such a great tool. And these are the cards finished. So we're just gonna have a little look at all of that foiling shiny goodness. And with that, I'm almost done. I just wanted to again remind you that there is a blog hop going on. So I will link that down below in the description box. I will also link all of the products I've used for these cards with some compensated affiliate links at absolutely zero extra cost to you. Thank you so much if you support me by shopping with these links. It really means the world to me, and I hope you have liked this video enough to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell button if you don't want to miss any uploads. And I will see you very, very soon again. Bye for now.